Hi everyone, and welcome back to Chat with an Expert Facebook Live. Woo! Today we have a very special guest. This is Mayan, our VP Marketing here at Tailor.
Hi everyone, excited to be here.
So the first question is from Viola. Which marketing method do you recommend considering I'm just starting my business?
If you're just starting your business, so you probably don't have a lot of spare money on the side, I would definitely recommend trying to promote your business organically, which means don't put a lot of money on advertisement. Social networks can be a great place to start with.
Yeah, like creating content,
Exactly.
blog posts, all the things that are around it.
Yes.
Okay, next question is from Emma. How do I know who my target audience is?
It is very important to know who your target audience is, because if you target a very broad target audience, what will happen is that you'll pay more. So if you don't really know who are your target audience, don't start very broad. On the other hand, don't start very narrow. Think about who might be interested in the business or service you provide. Start to get a sense. Once you have the first users coming in, you'll understand more or less what is the direction you are going through. Think about who is the persona that you that will be using your service or product, and target according to that.
So let's move on to the next question from Jaya. How do you know which marketing platform is best for your business?
First of all, test and try to understand which is best for you. Definitely think where your audience is, something that I already mentioned a few times. So you need to test and of course measure. So measuring, there's a lot of measuring tool out there, and you can measure a lot of things. I believe that at the beginning it's pretty easy. It's not easy to implement maybe some kind of a tool, but probably at the beginning you don't have a lot of marketing channels, so you can narrow it down and understand better, and it's not that complicated as it sounds.
Okay, thank you. So next question, what's a call to action and what are your tips for creating one that work?
Okay, so a call to action is at the end of any marketing message, you'll have a bottom or a link to something you would like the user to perform. What's your goal that you want the user to perform? And that's the call to action. It's usually a link. It can be on landing pages, emails, ads, anything. But it is very important to have a call to action. My tips for call to action is be clear, and that it will convey what you're expecting from the user, so the next step will be clear to the user. My second tip about that
More secrets, people.
is of course test it. Test it all the time.
You can test like two kinds of
call to action, and see what's worked best for you.
Okay. If a small business wants to pay for social media marketing for them, what should they expect to spend?
So, should they expect to spend? It really depends on the target audience you define. You can definitely go into Facebook advertising platform. It calls Facebook Ads Manager. Put in your audience, define the audience, and it will tell you what is the expected spend. That will be the best thing. I can't tell you in general because it really differs between what is the market you're advertising in, what is the audience, and so on.
Okay. And
would they see that it's worth it? Definitely, you should be able to see if it's worth it.
By sales or
again, it depends on each one's final goal. But you define that goal and you see how much it costs you for each, let's say, sale or visit or whatever your final goal is, and you decide if that's what you're aiming for.
So I guess that it's also really important, like to define your goals and like to know what you want to get from the
define your goal, how much is worth a sale for example, or any other goal, how much it is worth it for you. Otherwise, yeah, if you don't have that, you won't know if it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ben, for the great question. Okay, so the next question is from Alexis. How long should it take before I start seeing results?
Okay, so that depends on the marketing channels, but if, as a general note, organic can take a bit more time to pick up and see traffic from, while paying advertising can be pretty much immediate.
Would you recommend using only one marketing platform or a few at a time, especially for small business? Yeah, that's actually another...
For a small business, I would recommend starting with one, seeing how it works, and if it works well, expand to more, one at a time, unless you have a team and you have enough resources to do more than that. So you can start with more, but then be sure that you have the resources to follow on the traffic, understand it, and so on. So if you're a one-man show, for example, I would start with one and then expand as we go. And that's what I think.
Is offline marketing still important, and how should I balance offline and online marketing efforts?
So I think I mentioned it before, and offline might be important for some businesses, local businesses, for example. I can tell you that
by offline we're talking about
billboards or signs on anything that is not digital marketing.
Yeah.
It could be even, by the way, TV or radio or things like that. But that's a very expensive marketing channel. So offline, if it's very local, it won't be very expensive and might work for you. I think it's still important for some businesses. I can tell you that we almost don't do offline marketing, especially because offline marketing is harder to measure. But if you do have a way to measure your offline, definitely should test it.
Is there a way to measure
There are
offline?
ways to measure offlines. For example, putting a specific code on an advertisement, and then you know a user came from there, or a specific phone number.
What do you see trending in social coming up in the next few years?
Wow. That's a question that I'm even thinking of. What's the next trending in social? Probably video will stay very much the big thing in the next few years, and it will continue to be a large portion in social media. And again, there's a lot of tools you can use to create videos. You don't need a studio of your own or things like that.
That's it. I hope to see you next time. So thank you and have a great day.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.